Hello everyone, my name is Philip. I'm the casual cat dad. Casual as in casual gamer and cat dad as in a full-time. I wouldn't call it a job, it's a pleasure to have two cats. And recently, as you can see probably from the background of this beautiful, gorgeous queen, darling Emma Frost, with the release of the new map and me being obsessed with Rivals, they have shown some very interesting things about her clones, or as she likes to call them, her daughters. So what I wanted to do here is how I would implement the Stepford Cuckoos, or her daughters. I mean, they're clones, but she calls them daughters in this game. So I will do my best to show you, or rather tell you, how I would like to see them in game as a strategist, and basically how I will implement them. I'm not a game developer. Big disclaimer. So there will be no like numbers or anything. Any pictures or files that you see are from the Wikia themselves. I didn't take anyone else's art. And if there's any art, it's directly from Wikia, from the covers or from the comics themselves that I took a screenshot of. I'm not sure how much of that will be in the video after editing, but just to let you know, and anything that you see will be recorded from my own gameplay. Now, I know that I haven't been active on Twitch as I do mostly stream. Sadly, working depression has gotten a hold of me a bit, so but you can follow me on Twitch if you wish. It should be linked down below in the description, where you can see me stream Marvel Rivals and other games which are mostly horror, because besides Marvel, as you can see, I'm wearing an X-Men t-shirt, so I am quite a big fan of X-Men. You can see that I do stream a lot of horror games, Resident Evil, etc., which you can find on my Twitch. I used to stream it daily, but I don't stream it anymore. Now, the interesting thing is the new map that came out, the Collector's Museum, showed the Cuckoos. Now, what piqued my interest, as so far Rivals has done a great job implementing my favorite characters. All of my favorite characters are currently in the game already. However, there are a couple more obscure characters that I like the Stepford Cuckoos, which I didn't make a video that I do want to see them in game. They now have been shown have full models in game, which leads me to believe that at some point they will be playable. So I do hope that they do that. I do hope that they give them justice like they did to Emma Frost, which is my favorite hero of all time, and like they did with Rogue, Storm, even Psylocke. Although I do have some thoughts on Jean and Black Widow, I'm not a fan of how they did them, and I do plan on doing a video how I would rework them. So one more time a disclaimer: I'm not a developer, so everything I say is just pure talk without any numbers given. I'm not a mathematician, not a developer. So let's start with their basic attack and their passive. Basic attack is basically just a projection, same projection beam like the Emma Frost, called Mother's Daughters, which goes through allies and enemies, both healing and dealing damage. I would also like to see them gradually increase that, as I had in mind for them to be both to fit both into the triple meta support and dual support as sort of a primary or even a secondary support, to kind of give a break to Invisible Woman and Gambit to a bit, because they have been quite dominant recently, especially in the lower elos where I am, sadly. So their beam will heal and go through allies, similar to how Invisible Woman's projectiles go, but this is just a beam, goes through them, heals them. Now, their passive, which is very important, is I would like to see Esme on the field, as she's the only one that kind of has a different outfit. I would like to see her as the dominant one on the field and the other four being behind, or you can maybe switch around with the costumes and just have them talk all the time in 5. How do you say 5? Triple, quadruple, and then I don't know how do you say 5. Whatever, voices, which would sound very creepy. So they assist her from the Cerebro, and the story behind this is how I would implement them story-wise as well, as I thought about that, is have them help Emma Frost and Jean Grey search for Cyclops using Cerebro. So that's how they got into the game. So 4 of them are behind in the Krakoa using Cerebra or Cerebro, whichever, and they are helping the sister that's on the field with the battle itself, trying to find Cyclops. They have 4 of them back home, and they can attach, so the main sister can direct them to different allies or herself. Only one per ally can be active, and they use various different abilities. So her right click, called Never Alone, is the main active sister summons an astral projection. So they will appear like an astral projection behind the ally. Astral projection to a ally, which would give them a small percentage of healing based on how much healing you are dealing with your being. Their E ability, called Forever Together, would do the same thing attached to an ally, just instead of doing healing, it will give a small percentage of damage increase. Something like Mantis, but weaker than Mantis, because this is a whole Mantis shtick and we don't want to step on her shoes, because I think she's a great character still, especially in the lower elos, and especially if you know how to at least decently aim. Their shift ability, as we do have to kinda introduce the diamond form, but I always thought like, hey, they can't use telepathy when they kind of have, diamond form. They don't have access to their telepathy, just like Emma Frost. So when it comes to shift, she calls all of her sisters back to her if there is any present on the field. If not, they'll come to her. So appearing as astral projections behind her, and what she does is she turns into diamond form, kicks the enemy, turns back into the normal form, and she gains a healing percentage done to her for an X amount of seconds. Now, I don't know how much without it being broken, but just to have some kind of a defensive option for herself, like any character does currently in the game, besides Adam Warlock, who is sadly neglected a lot. Ultimate 5 in 1. So, just like Emma Frost, I would like them to have very similar looking abilities because they have been taught by her. So, what I would like to see them do is do the same thing like she does, release this mental projection in front of them, dealing a massive amounts of healing, and also any enemies that are caught in that projection, they lose a small percentage, it needs to be balanced, small percentage of their ultimate charge. Now, Stepford Cuckoos are a very interesting characters. Now, when it comes to team-ups, I really couldn't think of any besides them having a team-up with Emma Frost and maybe Luna Snow. However, I thought quite extensively and I couldn't find anything that would do for a team-up. But this is sort of just a quick idea of how I would like to see them implemented. Now, I do plan to make more videos, as I do plan to start making more and more content because I really enjoy doing this, and I stopped because I didn't feel very well. So I really want to continue doing this as it does help me. So any subscribe, any like, any dislike even, or feedback is much welcome. And if you want to see me on stream, follow me on Twitch. I don't have a set schedule, sadly, because of my, let's call it a day job. Let's use a superhero term, my day job, and this is my night job. Thank you all for watching. Same YouTube stuff that I said before. Please subscribe, share, like, and thank you for sticking around with me. And I really hope that one day we can see Emma Frost with her daughters together. Take care, everyone, and see you in the rivals.